So, y'all know how that people got that relationship with that certain liquor bottle, and they always got a story behind it. My relationship with Claw, and if y'all a drinker, this is only for drinkers. Y'all know what I'm talking about. My relationship with Claw started at a bar in Warren, Ohio. One night, I felt like I had to get away. I was in a relationship at the time. I felt like I had to get away to clear my mind. To see if what I wanted was what I wanted at the time. Blackberry was my first try of Claw. And just as I would escape, like I have a freaking habit of escaping, of leaving, and going somewhere when I feel a little bit claustrophobic in my relationship. When I feel like I need to get away, you know, like that bird in a cage. I need to just get out of my cage for a little bit and flap my wings. That's how I felt at the time. So that's what I did. And this relationship, I wanted it, but at the same time, I was just being introduced to another chapter in my life. This chapter in my life had been ended a long time ago. I don't know what it was. You know, this chapter in my life had been ended a long time ago. But it was new to me. Something new, you can't just be like, oh yeah, and close the book and walk away. You gotta observe it a little bit more. Even when you know what the book is about, you still gotta keep looking over that chapter because that chapter was the most interesting chapter in the book that you ever read in your life. And you just knew that you wasn't done yet. But you knew that the end of your book was, you was okay. You okay? You was okay with how your book ended. You know? It may not have been the end of your book. It may have just been a timeout for you, you know? You know, when we get a little bit too overwhelmed, we gotta take a time out. And that's what God does in my life, a lot. God does that a lot. He sits me down in time and I get a time out when I least expect it. I can be in the middle of doing my thing. I'm going like you in the middle of a race and you just going. You know you about to hit that finish line and then all of a sudden, boom, your gas run out. And that's the time out I get all the time. And I'm like, it's so unfair. You know, it's so unfair for me. But at the same time, at the end of the day, it makes sense.
IEsha,
What?
it's stretching.
So, I had me a good meal with my White Claw that night. I had me a good meal. It was my first time at the bar. I actually met I met a few people there. I met a few people. 2 girls and a male. And we was all just talking, having a good time. They was introducing themselves to me. They had a meal, they bought me a meal. We was talking about the bar that was across the street. It was another bar across the street where you can take your kid and they got children's services in the bar across the street. I'm like, wow, you can actually bring your kid in a bar, but it turns out it was a restaurant. So it's like a restaurant with a pool table. So it was a restaurant with a pool table. And it had a bar in there, but you could take your kids to the back for children's services and you watch your kids. But it wasn't just a bar, it was actually a restaurant. But what restaurant doesn't have a bar? But it was more so of a restaurant rather than a bar. You know, there's bars that have like food, but then there's restaurants that have a bar. So, yeah, we mingled, we talked. And then at the end of the night, it didn't matter. By the end of the night, it did not matter. There was a guy that was acting out and the police got called on him. There was a guy, a crippled guy that was trying to get out of there. It was a weird night. I don't know if that was my first or my second experience with White Claw, but I want to say it was my first. After that, me and White Claw snuck out many nights. We didn't sneak out. Actually said, you know what, we about to go for a ride. We about to go here, we about to go there. We'll be right back. I'll be right back. And I went back to my White Claw. And every experience was a mystery. So, what's y'all experiences with that one drink? You know, drinks are spirits. That's what we was raised to believe, they're spirits. What's your experience with your relationship with that one drink that you keep going back to? I just know the time that I was in with that drink, it just lets me know where I'm at now. So the drink that you're holding on to now reflects and kind of just go back to that experience of when you first started drinking that drink, and it'll tell you a lot. It'll tell you a lot about where you're at in your life now. Because that's where I'm at in my life right now. Different location, same situation. So yeah, that being said, I will talk to y'all next time. And y'all let me know, what drink is y'all sipping on now? And how is that going for you? Like, comment, subscribe, be notified, share at your own free will. So you care. Bye.